Thanks for joining us at 5:30. I'm Sarah Whaley.
And I'm Rick Marinon. In a FOX23 investigation tonight, we have an update to a story we first told you about in July when a man died after being electrocuted during a tree trimming accident.
Oscar Lopez was a husband and a father. FOX23 talked to a retired Tulsa fire captain who was working nearby when it happened.
Tulsa's investigative reporter Janna Clark learned he did everything he could to save Oscar.
Captain Adam Baylog worked for the Tulsa Fire Department for 25 years. Adam led this hazmat team in 2013 when this tanker truck overturned. 10,000 gallons of anhydrous ammonia spilled all over the road.
It's a very dangerous chemical.
His team had to keep it from contaminating a nearby creek.
Once you're a fireman, just like a police officer, you're always a fireman.
Adam retired a year later in 2014. Today, Adam contracts for tree trimming companies and grinds tree stumps. On July 22nd, he was working a job at a home near 41st and Utica with Oscar Lopez, a tree trimmer he worked with often.
Would you call him a friend?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you the type of guy he was. No matter how miserable the day was, always had a smile on his face, always. And every time I got to a job site, he would high-five me or shake my hand. And every time I left the job site, he would shake my hand or give me a hug.
Wow.
That's the kind of person he was.
Every time?
Every time.
That day, Adam was grinding a tree stump right here. He ran to the backyard when he found out his friend was in trouble. Adam saw Oscar lying still, wedged in the fork of this tree.
Right when I saw him, I knew what was going on.
What was going on?
Somehow or other, he got electrocuted, that he got into the power.
You said he got into the power.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
What you can't see is what kills you. And that's what I was trained for with hazmat. And what happens is, it was a humid day. Second, he's sweaty, and he got into the zone. Power can jump. If the conditions are just right, if you're right there, the power can jump to you. And then he'll ground through the tree, too. So he got zapped.
The conditions were right?
Everything was just perfect for the bad situation.
When you saw him, did you know it was bad?
I knew it was bad.
Then what did you do?
I knew I needed help. I had multiple things going through my mind. How are we going to get him out of the tree? I'm 63 years old. I'm the only one trained there with any type of medical or rescue type thing. Called 911. First time I called, I didn't have my headset on, so I was calling and noticed nobody picked up anyway, so I hung up.
I want to know exactly what happened. You called 911 and you heard what?
I heard the first pickup cycle that goes through. It's like a standby, okay? And then it repeats in Spanish. So I made it to the Spanish part. I hung up, put my headset back on.
How long do you think you called the first time?
The first time was probably only 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So then, put my headset back on, called 911 again, and I know I went through at least 4 to 5 cycles of English to Spanish. English to Spanish.
Stay on the line and your call will be answered as quickly as possible.
Adam says while he sat on hold with 911, his mind raced on what he should do.
I was torn between hanging up, I left the phone on, I had my headset on, and going back and trying to save the man's life. So I stayed on the phone.
That must have been a horrifying feeling.
I haven't slept well for 3 days because of that feeling.
Adam says finally a dispatcher came on the line. That's when the FOX23 News team heard the call for help go out at 10:52 a.m.
Engine 1-4, engine 2-3. Medical emergency. An electrocution at South Utica.
Once I got through the dispatch, everything went perfect. I told her what resources I needed, what fire trucks I needed. I needed PSO. I told her what the emergency was. It was electrocution with a climber in a tree.
Retired Captain Baylog is on scene. One of their tree guys got to a primary line. He's unconscious, 20 to 30 feet up in the backyard.
Everything went great from there, from dispatch. The problem is getting into there. Now, I've talked to other still active firemen and still active police officers. They say that is the problem right there.
After you were finished with 911, tell me what you did next.
That's when I used a drain pipe, air conditioning system, whatever it was, to get up on the roof. I still can't even figure out how I got my old self up on that roof.
Adam quickly climbed up on the roof of this cabana to help the other workers get Oscar out of the tree.
They couldn't get him out of there's a fork in the tree. He's wedged in the fork. I went up on there, put half his body across my shoulders, and I don't know where I got the old strength from. We got him out of the wedge between the climber and myself, got the guy out.
They got Oscar down onto the roof, and Adam started CPR. Firefighters showed up in about 5 minutes.
Car 643 is on scene. We'll be setting up Utica Command. If you'll go check it out, it looks like it's going to be in the backyard. Make sure we leave room for ladders out in front of the structure.
Adam says what happened on that rooftop felt way different than while working for the fire department because Oscar was his friend.
When it's a co-worker or someone that you work or see every other day or something, then it becomes personal to you. And you feel extremely alone.
They've got him down on the roof. They're doing compressions.
As far as dispatch, everything I asked for, they sent me the cavalry. By the time I looked up, I had to do 4 cycles of chest compressions on a man. By then, the fire department was there on the roof. I looked up, and I swear there must be at least 10 people there to pat me on the back and switch positions, and they took over.
Just let me know what you need with getting the victim off of the roof.
Went out to the front and sat on the curb to wait to hear if he's good or not. I knew he wasn't. It's too long.
He didn't make it.
He didn't make it.
I'm sorry.
It's just something that I'll have to personally deal with for the rest of my life. The what ifs. I will what if myself forever.
In Midtown Tulsa, covering news that matters, Janna Clark, Fox 23 News.
Now, Janna's been in touch with the Tulsa Police Department and its 911 call center. She's asking about 911 hold times, not just in this particular call, but other 911 calls as well. Plus, hear what Tulsa police have to say about this issue coming up in her investigation on Tuesday.
Do you have a tip or issue that you think Janna Clark should investigate? Let us know. Email FOX23 Investigates at fox23.com or call 918-388-5354 or search Fox 23 Janna Clark on Facebook.